Hey, true believers, how we doing? Matt Sardo, monkeys fighting robots. The panel breakdown. Another exciting time to chat with you. We have Spider-Man number 7, the end of the Spider-Verse, and this is a huge issue, like just blowing up social media with. You got the introduction of Spider-Boy. First, let's talk about this variant cover by Humberto Ramos, one of my favorite Spider-Man artists of all time. This logo is really starting to grow on me. I love how it has a little bendiness to it, but like this is very clean and modern, and it works up really well to set up the number. And then like if you want to have things happen in the background and the way it like sets on the page, I like it. I like this red, the white, the black. I think it's done really well. So this is Spider-Boy. This is a very nice young looking character. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what they do with him. And just looking at the color scheme, it just works for Spider-Man. It works for a kid as well too. I like these bright yellow eyes and then the extra eyes in the back. Nobody's ever really done that with Spider-Man, giving him a few extra eyes and everything. But I like the way he's just like parkouring across the city. Like he's not doing a traditional like Spider-Man pose, but he is still like flying with the birds and up in the city. Like I'm not going to go a lot into the story, and I'm not going to like go through the story a lot. And we're going to like kind of skip to the end where they introduce Spider-Boy. So there will be spoilers ahead. So just so you are warned, this is my official technologically advanced Adobe After Effects spoiler alert. Now would be a good time to stop. So, okay, let's dive into this. We got the creators. Dan Slott, the writer. Mark Bagley is the penciler. John Dell, Andrew Hennessy are the inkers. Edgar Delgado is the colorist, and Joe Carmagna is the letterer on this. Dan shared this on Twitter, but this is a fun page. All the Spider-Men and women and Spider creations are all coming full circle, and like I like how Bagley gave this page some room to breathe, and then kind of has the conversation on the outside. It kind of flips to the middle, but like you get a bulk and you get to just sit there and look at the page. And then you boom, like this first page, like, oh, it's kind of matted out and blown out in color wise. And you're like, oh, I can't see a lot of detail. And then boom, here's a massive one. And I like the yellow background. It really makes the characters pop. You know, old school Spider-Man right there with the dot matrix. Coloring looks really good. Stands out. You can see where your eye goes. But again, like this is the bulk, and then things are on the outside. So they're given room for all these spiders to come out, and then the story happens on the outside. But it still kind of like goes through like a nice diagonal pattern, even though it's like a who's who. But you enjoy this page of just looking at who's talking and what they're saying and everything, and you kind of bounce through because it's just pure chaos. Okay, this was another panel right here that I really enjoyed. This is like the final shot into the villain. And then you have this little guy right here, big, huge villain. The yellow is a huge influence in this panel, but in the book as well. You see yellow popping up all over the place. But I like the way they kind of like blurred it a little or blew it out a little bit. And then you have a huge explosion right here. Like this is a really nice, how epic this panel is right here. And then like the big explosion. Like this is 2 panels on 1 page that are really epic in scale. That is like one of my favorite pages of the book. The next page is going to have the reveal of Spider-Boy. And if we're breaking down the panel layout of what's going on here, Peter's talking to Aunt May, everything's going on. And then like it doesn't really lead to a page turn here. You know, it kind of starts up here, starts here. I'm like, okay, I guess I should turn the page. So there isn't a huge build-up to this. And then you have a commercial break, which stinks. And then people are kind of just talking, yabba yabba, and they're like, oh, there's something else going on. Boom. And then Spider-Boy. And then a close-up of his eyes. Here he has different shoes, which is interesting. as far as a reveal, like there wasn't a build up to this. It was like it's like almost like an afterthought, not an afterthought, but like okay, the story is continuing, but they weren't planning the panels out to like blow this up. Like this should have been a quarter panel right here, like maybe have you could have cut out this Spider-Man piece. You could have tightened up the script right here, and just had the return of the Scarlet Spider, or kind of change the script a little bit, where like Scarlet Spider's here, then you have this panel here of people talking, and then you have this piece right here. We're like, what is going on? Right here, or right here low, and then you hit the turn, boom, full size Spider Boy, and then he's like, what? It's Bailey, and then he bounces off, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, and they're like, what? And it's like over with. He's gone. So for me, I would have. Dan Slott has been hyping this up, and Marvel's been hyping this. So the hype machine of like the first appearance of Spider Boy, you're like, okay, but at least like set it up so that it really hits the reader. Because like I flip the page and I'm like, oh, it's Spider Boy, but then I have to read all of this, and then I get the Spider Boy, and I'm like, oh, so you really don't have a huge payoff because it wasn't set up on a page turn. Like this should have been on the previous page. I turned it, and then bam, this would have been full size, and then this would have been here, and you're like, okay, what's going on? So you could have tightened up the script or tightened up the comic book more to where this landed on a full page, and then you were like, holy shit, this is the first appearance of Spider Boy, and he looks amazing, and I see everything. But this is an interesting panel breakdown because you're revealing this huge brand new character, and you kind of like reveal it before you show it, because you have to make it through all these pages, or all these panels. You have to make it through all the words on this panel, and you see something going on here, but you're like, oh well, this is what's happening, and then like this is over here, and you're like, well, this is right here. Like it's there's no need for this conversation. Like it with this being so prominent, and everybody being excited about Spider Boy showing up, like this, it becomes. The more I talk about it, the more I get frustrated that it literally could have tightened up these things a little bit more. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up this issue, and what you think, and what do you think about the introduction of Spider Boy. Comment below. Like this video. Subscribe, all these funny things that you can do with the social media. Share the video with your friends. Have a great week, guys. I'm going to be in Florida next week, or actually tomorrow, and I'll be back on Tuesday. So I'll grab my books on Wednesday, and probably Wednesday night have another panel breakdown. So I'll probably chime in a little bit, maybe on some posts, but I might be a little MIA, soaking up some sun in Florida because it's just been not cold in Connecticut. It's just that it's just been a blot winter. So I'm going to be happy to have some sun on me for like 6 days straight. So take care, guys. Have a great week. Matt Sardo out.